into your comfortable seated position. Feel yourself sitting up straight and tall. Feel where your sits bones are connected to the floor and rock a little bit so that you're not back on the sits bones or too far forward, but rather upright. And it might actually feel like you're leaning back a little bit. Or, I don't know, if your hips are tight, it might feel like you're leaning forward. Find that place on the tippy top of those sits bones, and then draw the ribs back so that they're directly over your hips. Lift up through your heart. Draw your chin back a little bit and make it parallel to the floor. Start to notice your breath. It always begins with simply noticing the breath. You don't need to make any kind of changes at the beginning, but rather in that noticing, you begin to understand if you're breathing in a deep way or in a more shallow kind of way. And it's simply a moment to touch base, and connect inward, knowing a little bit more deeply what your natural state of breath is. Breathing in and out through your nose, notice if there's a free flowing through the sinuses, or if it feels like some place is stopped up or clogged in some way. And even if it is, work through that clogged or that stuffy sensation and just continue pulling and pressing the air in and out through your nose. And then start to deepen the inhale so that you can feel more expansion through the torso, so that you can feel the ribs expanding in all directions, equally expanding in the front and the sides and the back. Notice how the belly and the core muscles of both the belly and the back serve to hold you in this upright position. And then place your left hand over your heart and your right hand over the back of that left hand. And just apply a little bit of pressure just so you can feel that you're pressing into the space of the heart. And then start to notice that sensation of the breastbone pressing forward when you inhale. And then let both the sides of the chest and the back of the chest expand as well as the front, so that the entire barrel-like shape of your torso expands in all directions. So up in the chest, the ribs, you can even feel the lower part of the belly and the lower part of the back supporting you and pulsating with that gentle expanding and receding with each breath. You may start to feel a little bit of a warming sensation in the place of the heart. And the heart physically is really essential to our being alive. The heart and the brain are what keep us alive in the sense of being mentally aware and able to press that blood throughout the entire body. And in that same way of really profound importance, the heart is the center of spirit, the center of our human awareness. of spirit. The heart is your sacred space. No person and no thing belongs there. It's in that sacred space of the heart that we are in a sensation of bliss, free from worry and concern, free from comparison and judgment, free from longing and desire, and the resulting feelings of perhaps frustration and disappointment. It's in the space of the heart, the spiritual heart, your very own sacred space that is clear and empty of all the things we know in our human world. You can begin to bring your awareness from that depth of sacred security, sacred being, outward. And in your mind's eye, as you begin to move outward, you may find yourself like figuratively bumping into the things that are there. What are some of those first things that you encounter? And as you encounter them, are they the things you truly desire to be that close to your sacred space? Imagine as you exhale that you're gently blowing them just a little bit farther away. A lot of those things are related to thoughts and emotions like desire, disappointment, frustration. Gently press them or blow them just a little bit outside of the space of your most sacred being. Let them drift away. As you imagine moving farther and farther away from the sacred space, being more and more aware of the things in your life. What other things are you encountering? What other things are rising up in your conscious awareness? And what would you like to bring closer? Perhaps more joy, contentment, fun, ease of movement through your days. Imagine that you're drawing those things just a little bit closer with each inhale. So that with the ebb and flow of your breath, you can begin to imagine a gentle ebb and flow of the things that take up your time in every single day, the things that take up the mental thinking energy, letting some of them move farther away from your sacred space, and simply allowing the natural drawing of those things that you most value. Remember that inside the actual most sacred space, there is nothing. In that nothingness, there's the sound of Om. Om is the beginning and the end, and Om is the all and the nothing. Om is your essence. Just beyond the circle of your sacred space, notice what you've brought closer. Maybe even imagine that those things that you are gently moving away are still on that trajectory of farther and farther away from the sacred space. It doesn't mean you don't need to do those things or that you don't value those things. You're simply allowing the divine healing energy to make these little shifts to bring you more in alignment with your true calling, your true essence. Slowly begin to move your hands away from your heart, feeling that rush of cooler air, and separate the arms and the hands out to the sides. Empty your breath. And then as you inhale, reach around and gather the energy of the space around you in your life. And when you exhale, bring that in and settle it all. Take your hands overhead with the palms facing upward and breathe in fully and completely. And as you exhale, draw your thumbs to heart center, slowly moving through the space. And bow your head. Feel your thumbs against your breastbone. Bow your head to the wisdom of the spiritual heart. Bow your head to what is your sacred truth. And with this alignment within both physical body and spiritual space, move forward throughout your day. Namaste.